Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Jack Woods, also known as Woods Media. So today we're going to talk about 3 essentials when it comes to cinematography. Because lately I've been thinking about how easy it is to obsess over gear. More specifically with me, it would be anamorphic lenses. I can't tell you how many times I went onto websites, added them into my basket, and then just went, no, I don't need to. And then you just go back and forth and so close to purchasing one. Because I just keep thinking that, oh, if I buy an anamorphic lens with the squeeze and the way it looks and the flares, it'll just take my, videos and clips to the next level. But when it comes to films that I love, it's not really about the gear. So I've just been trying to practice cinematography at home. No big productions, just small exercises. And I've been focusing on 3 things that make my footage feel more intentional. And those 3 things are sound, camera movement, and colour. So starting with sound, I used to completely ignore sound when it came to practicing cinematography, which is wild because half of what makes a scene feel real isn't visuals. So I've been doing the simple thing, film something really basic like, making cereal or making coffee, and then I'll rebuild the sound from scratch. Just simple things like the water pouring or a spoon stirring and even just opening a drawer. And suddenly it starts to feel like a scene rather than just a clip. So if you want to try practicing at home, try making a 30-second scene where the sound does most of the storytelling. Camera movement. I used to move the camera just because I could. You get a new gimbal, you can float, you go handheld and you feel like, right, I need to make it all shaky. But then lately I've been asking, why is the camera movement? So rather than just moving it for the sake of it or to make it feel more immersive, what's the intention behind it? When you watch work like Marshall Adams, the movement feels earned. Because it's so infrequent, whenever you do have camera movement, it has more of a purpose and it's not just for decoration. And it's crazy how different it feels emotionally, because if everything moves, nothing feels important. Lastly then, colour. So I've stopped relying on colour grading to fix everything in post. I'm trying to design colour physically in the room, because films can feel emotional before anyone's even said a word. The colour's already telling you how to feel. You have them warm oranges, make you feel a bit more relaxed, at ease, versus something that's maybe a bit more colder and blue, a bit more on edge or, tense. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll pick one dominant colour. So for example, maybe it's the night light coming through the windows, that nice cold blue, and thinking what pairs with that nicely in terms of contrast. So pairing that blue with a nice, warmer colour, 32 kelvins, or even just a nice orange, using warm lamps or even like candles just to sort of give it that nice contrast between the cold night light coming through with the warm candle light or whatever practical light you might be using. Nothing too complicated, just, intentional. I think practicing cinematography at home isn't really about trying to make something impressive. Training your eye and your taste of what you think suits you creatively. Because when you focus on sound, movement and colour, you're now creating the scene and not just filming it. It does make the process a wee bit slower, but it is much more satisfying. So today was a bit of a chill one, of course. I'm just sat here on the sofa sort of spilling out my thoughts. But before you go, I'm going to show you a clip at the end where I was trying to make like a thriller horror scene. Hopefully you can spot those 3 things as that we talked about today. The sound, hopefully you can notice the ambient noise and some of the subtle sound effects. With camera movement, hopefully you can notice where I intentionally go handheld to make you feel like someone's there watching, lurking, making you feel a wee bit more on edge. And then colour, of course, just everything's more tense and scary at night time, so that's why I purposely went with the cooler temperature coming in from the window. So yeah, hopefully you learned something from today's video, and yeah, go ahead and practice something at home, just something as simple as making your breakfast, lunch, whatever it may be, and try and turn it into a scene, create it rather than just filming it. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one.